Alright, listen, so what you're seeing here is an x-ray of your arm. Doctor, it's my leg that's broken. What the? Oh, you know what? He's right, actually. I could have sworn that was an elbow. Just don't be too active, okay? My team could win the league this weekend. No activity, no running.
This has hurt me forever. This was incredible. Seeing these...
Oh, it's come off. Someone get an ambulance, please. My leg, it's on the floor. I did warn you. Right, so what have you done to your shoulder this time? My leg is not there. How can it be my shoulder? Yo guys, it is your boy Niran here, and you are watching FTW. This, of course, is the series where I bring to you the best and more frequently the worst of what football has to offer during the last 7 days. What's been kicking off in the world this week? Well, Rishi Sunak aims to send all young people to army service in the UK, saying that if people don't do it, they will be restricted to 4 hours of internet usage a day. Oh, fucking hell, I just want to put the episode out. This seems like a ludicrous decision, I'm not gonna lie. Oh, Jesus, okay, it's a medical emergency. I don't know how to do CPR. 1 second, let me just get a YouTube tutorial up and... Oh, no. Clements? Oh, not again, Clements. Furthermore, I don't want to see any of my peers engaging in army service because I don't trust them to take it seriously. Imagine being one-on-one in pro clubs in the 90th minute and then the Prime Minister switches you to 3G. Now, the big games have been coming thick and fast as far as trophies are concerned, and now United have won. Wait, hang on, hold on. United have won.
Do you want me to die?
They defeated their City rivals against all odds to take home the FA Cup at Wembley, and they did it through young goal scorers Alejandro Garnacho and Kobbie Mainoo. The first goal, an absolute disaster class. Pep Guardiola was left depressed seeing Joško Gvardiol here. Meanwhile, Garnacho and Kobbie become the first teenagers to score in an FA Cup final since Cristiano Ronaldo. And the assist for Mainoo's was incredible from Bruno Fernandes, sending a cameraman to the shops. You know what? United turned up to Wembley and just dropped 2 slaps on Pep Guardiola's head.
If you ever do that again, I'm gonna kill your parents.
He was stressfully left drinking a water bottle again. The first half, this was one of the biggest cookings that Wembley's seen since the lasagna. This was the Pep Guardiola that turned up today. United become the first team to lose a semi-final and then win the final. Coventry are owed at least 25% of that trophy after that VAR decision. And that means that Coventry are better than Man City. Get your notepad out, ladies and gentlemen, and write this one down. Haaland ghosted in an important game again. Kevin De Bruyne's highlights weren't that much better, truthfully. Meanwhile, Phil Foden's artillery wasn't really that influential today. Jeremy Doku wasn't getting a chance to breathe before a massive challenge from Wan-Bissaka.
He wins that ball so much.
But the Belgian did escape at one point to score a late goal for Man City. United, though, did hold on for the win. Lisandro Martinez couldn't help himself but lift Ten Hag at full time, though Alan Shearer was trying to bring the Dutchman down.
If you had had that every single week, then you wouldn't have finished in 8th. Today was unbelievable.
No, but we didn't have the players. I can sense your frustration, and your frustration might be that this could conceivably be your last game. Do you know? I don't know. You are very good here in England to push players and manage very high, and then to hammer them when they are 1 or 2 bad performances. Eric, I think you should be more calm.
Okay. Eric, this interview is just so unnecessary. You know, listen, I hate United as much as the next guy. Yeah, I know there was a lot of talk about his job security going into the game, but he just won them the FA Cup, for fuck's sake. It was against all odds, as I said. Most people thought the scoreline was more likely to be 20-0 rather than 2-1 United. Kobbie Mainoo responded. Meanwhile, this result means Rodri's 74-match unbeaten run is over for the 2nd time in 74 matches. Vini Jr. must be confused looking at this stat after Real knocked Man City out of the Champions League. Maybe the Spaniard was just missing mentality here.
The difference was in here.
Up for the trophy lift now, and hang on a second, who is that?
1 second! Where the fuck was you?
Tyrell Malacia is actually alive.
I can't believe it, someone said he was dead.
This is his first sighting out in the wild. It's like a poor boy got lost and ended up there. Malacia's hit the stairs, returned from the dead and won the FA Cup before Harry Kane's won anything. I Show Speed, meanwhile, managed to sneak into the after party for United players and staff and was keeping Alejandro Garnacho entertained.
Garnacho!
He even managed to show Andre Onana the edit of himself and the Cameroonian. Meanwhile, footballing ability-wise and Anthony and speed, they could go machine for machine. And he was also competing in national cheese rolling in the UK this week. The guy's actually completing side missions. I don't understand what's going on. This result also means that United will play in Europe next season. Their fans will be rushing to find their passports so they can travel to Slovakia. It also means Chelsea have been knocked down into the Conference League. Their players will be feeling concerned when they get a wobbly international bus all the way to Slavia Slobina, and Cole Palmer will be absolutely balling there. It'll actually be cold when he's playing in the middle of Siberia on a Thursday night. Ten Hag probably still getting sacked, but at least he's been able to bring some joy to United's season. Meanwhile, for Erling Haaland, and he ghosted in this game, and he doesn't even get to claim the golden boot for the tournament. He was beaten by a non-league player who scored more than him. Truly the most FTW headline you're gonna see. Man City did at least still have something to celebrate though, as they held their Premier League trophy parade through the city. Phil Foden's son was back on the bevs again, and I'm sure Jack Grealish was too, as he almost fell off the back of the bus. We zoom in closely, and Stefan Ortega's pulled out a sensational stop again. His goalkeeping teammate, Scott Carson, is also defying the odds by getting a new deal at City. He's made 2 appearances, but he's still bagging 50k a week. Yeah, say less.
You're laughing, I've made 500 quid this week.
Realistically, he has to be lying to his wife about his game time. He's ensured that the family and the kids have got absolutely no Sky Sports subscriptions. The Man City first team will have to remove him when Scott Carson goes to pick up a Premier League winners medal. The 4P for Man City is a crazy achievement, alright, but it is wild that people just don't care. I know I'm talking about it in a video, so like obviously I care because it's, you know, it's content. But a pick of Manchester United youth graduates has done better on social media than this entire achievement. I guess it's because they win so frequently, but still. And it could well be Pep Guardiola's last as well, as he is allegedly going to be leaving the club next summer. Finally, we've overcome the terrorism.
We have caught and compromised to a permanent end Osama bin Laden.
The Premier League is finally winnable again, but every other manager's now bald. He's leaving just in time for Man City to get those world-first 11-time relegations. Don't think you're slick here, Pep. Meanwhile, Jurgen Klopp will be depressed realising he only had to put up with the Spaniard for 1 more year, and he'll be returning to Anfield after Arne Slot's 37 minutes in charge to grab another Premier League title. Pep's former captain has got himself a new job. Vincent Kompany is the new manager at Bayern Munich. Burnley saying they'll be back to the Premier League stronger. I don't think Vincent agrees.
You can if you like, but I won't be there.
This man, I'm sorry, look, there's promise to Vincent Kompany's managerial career, but he has just got Burnley relegated in 19th place. What is Bayern Munich's interview process? Right, Vincent, obviously, protocol here. We have to ask, you know, what badges you've got. You know them Kellogg's ones, 25 meters from back in the day? You're fucking hired, lad. Apparently, he said yes after just 5 minutes on the phone during the interview. This man had zero composure. He didn't even stop to think about it. These are the texts he'll be sending to Bayern Munich this morning. Vincent's agent will be trying to calm him down on FaceTime so he doesn't give the game away. Meanwhile, Bayern officials will be shocked when they see how many times Vincent has tried to contact them after not calling him back for 3 hours.
41,000 emails.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, man.
I'm not sure if I see this going well, honestly. Again, he's got promise there, but this is a massive job after what just happened in the Prem. I can already see the side turning on him. Joshua Kimmich scoring a penalty against Manuel Neuer just to get him out of the job. And Vincent's assistants will be left confused when he explains how he wants Jamal Musiala to play to them.
Of course you want to see him in that enganche role because of the way he uses La Pausa and hits the half spaces in his double pivot. Now, he struggled against a low block, but if we used him as more of a trequartista, I think we'd improve in the final third transitional variant.
And there's new managers all over the gaff, as Chelsea have hired their Pochettino replacement in the form of Leicester boss Enzo Maresca. He helped the Foxes to promotion despite a late drop-off last season, has worked at Man City and managed briefly at Parma, but already expectations are pretty high for a relatively inexperienced boss, saying that he needs to go head-to-head with Mikel Arteta and Pep Guardiola. Chelsea's players are going head-to-head with themselves. How the fuck is he going to do that? Next season, 6 Premier League managers will be bald. All the referees are bald as well. Mate, honestly, get 5 of them in a stadium and the light's going to be reflecting, making it look like Glastonbury. If you own a hairbrush, you can't be a manager in this economy. Mikel Arteta's going to have to try drastic action just to win the Prem next season. Honest opinions, though, on this appointment. On it, obviously, you know, impressed tactically, you know, with Leicester last season. Harry Winks is quoted as saying he's the best manager that he's ever worked with, but he's not got the brightest and also longest resume. So to get rid of Mauricio Pochettino, who just started to turn things round, for this appointment still doesn't make a crazy amount of sense to me, but hey, look, we've been wrong before. It's all changed at Barcelona too, as Hansi Flick Flick has been announced as their new manager. Interestingly enough, Lamine Yamal and Hansi Flick are the same age. Now, honestly, look, this is, again, quite a shock appointment, given where Barca's heads were at about a month ago. But one thing we can be sure on, Barcelona's players are going to be built like Canary Wharf next year, because that man gets you in the gym. Frankie de Jong and Gavi are already looking very different. Lionel Messi will be emotional, finding out that he left 3 years before earning some more growth hormones.
So we don't have the capacity.
Though former manager Xavi had some interesting words to say on what Hansi Flick would be dealing with at Barca.
Consell, no soc qui per donar consell, simplement doncs que tingui paciència, que és realment una plaça molt complicada.
I mean, he's salty, and I understand. It's actually crazy. They begged him to stay, then sent him his P45. Begged him to remain in the relationship, then dumped him by text.
Hey, yo, don't let him do that.
I've been there for you since day one!
All I can say is I bet he was in shock. Not a shock bet, though, for Lucas Paquetá, who'd already stuck 3 weeks' worth of wagers on it at 6-1. Lucas Paquetá has officially been charged by the FA for betting infringements involving those on his own club and cards that he would receive at certain points during games. Now, obviously, this sounds pretty bad. It sounds even worse when you look at the footage. I mean, some of these yellow cards are so obvious. He absolutely clattered John McGinn for no reason. He definitely needed a yellow card there. The Ladbrokes Legion are looking stronger than ever, by the way. Paquetá, Tony, Tonali, you're building a decent squad here. Though things will be getting aggressive when him and Sandro are both trying to get the first yellow card in Newcastle's game versus West Ham next season. Just like Nicki Minaj, they're trying to keep this guy away from Manchester. The odds are stacked against him in terms of a move to Pep's side, and he'd know he placed them. Joining him in the Premier League next season, if he's not banned, will be Southampton after beating Leeds in the Championship playoff final.
Well done, as I say to you, Leeds are doing well. What?
Leeds had to be favourites for promotion and for the playoffs really generally, after the season they had and the dismantling of Norwich in the semis, but they couldn't pull off a final victory. The goal in this one scored by Saints striker Adam Armstrong, who prematurely ripped his shirt off because he thought the referee had blown for full time, only for it to actually be a free kick. Thankfully no one noticed, he escaped to yellow. And also going under the radar, or attempting to be, was Aaron Ramsdale, who was dressed as Hagrid in fancy dress to support the Saints.
You're the left back, aren't you?
His journey back to North London was interesting to say the least, and that mistake he made against Southampton, that cost him the league last year, starting to make sense now. Harry Maguire wasted absolutely no time going at Leeds fans, saying he hoped everyone enjoyed their Sunday. Given the contrasting Wembley fortunes for both sides this weekend, it's a shithousery award for Harry, and there's really only one man that can save Leeds now.
Yeah, we're fucking shit, mate.
I mentioned Rishi Sunak earlier on. The Prime Minister is out campaigning ahead of next month's election. Turns out he's not going to make it pro.
Special beyond special.
Don't think I've ever seen a Tory actually be good at football. For fuck's sake, man, give me my internet back. It looks like he's trying to ask the ball questions. Like, this is straight dribbling of a different kind. Elsewhere at Liverpool, Mo Salah is now bald. His hair's gone. This baldness is taking over. At least this new version of Mo Salah will be pleased, realising he doesn't have to waste time at the barbers. Down in the Championship, and Wayne Rooney will be taking over as manager at Plymouth Argyle. His credentials being completely ruining Birmingham City's season in the exact same division. He started things off beautifully by saying that he hates Pieface's accent, a man who supports Plymouth.
I know people say about Scousers with the accent, but that guy's accent is the worst I've ever heard in my life.
What, Mark?
I don't think his tactics of punishing his right back for giving up a penalty after 10 minutes will work too well.
And what did you do? Threaten to knock someone out?
No, that was one of the lads we were playing with.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Plymouth fans will be left furious when Wayne boots up girth and turf at half-time instead of instigating a comeback. Gareth Southgate's decided he's going to try out a new outfit for the Euros this year. Fuck's sake, man, we've gone from a waistcoat to a cardigan. What is this woke nonsense? One Brentford fan said he would get a Neil Mopay tattoo if he replied to him on Twitter. Neil duly replied with the quote of AFTV tie.
You are an absolute disgrace.
And unbelievably, the fan actually got the tattoo. How are you going to explain that to your kid? Meanwhile, Jamie O'Hara has unfortunately made it to US television.
What's going on?
I've got something to tell you. I'm not an ad salesman.
Okay.
I'm actually a famous soccer player in England.
Oh.
And I got a huge radio show.
Oh.
I didn't want to lie to you, but we had to because I've come here for a reason to find love with someone that doesn't know who I am.
World famous footballer. He's barely even famous in North London. One man quite literally better than him at football. Take it away, Zinedine Zidane. Meanwhile, at Nottingham Forest, and Chris Wood will be missing New Zealand matches for the interesting and unique reason of his wedding. I mean, look, fair play. Like, obviously more important, really. But after that performance he put in against Man City at the end of the season, it's no surprise to see him missing, truthfully. Now, this week also saw the UEFA Conference League final. It was terrible, but Olympiacos became the first Greek club to ever win a major European trophy with a 1-0 win. It saw Fiorentina lose in a Conference League final for the second year in a row. That has to be graduation into tin pottery, realistically. Their fans will be devastated at this point when they realise they've qualified for the Conference League again next season. But yeah, big shout out to Olympiacos, unreal achievement from them, but this game requires no more of my time, so we're moving on. In Spain now, and there's the revelation that Thibaut Courtois will be getting his own documentary that followed his rehabilitation after his ACL injury. Mate, if he's getting a doc after one knee injury, Naby Keita would be on season 14 of this show. I'm glad Thibaut Courtois is okay, but a documentary for an ACL injury. See, the game's gone. Like, he's not the only person to ever get this injury. Jack Wilshere's documentary would be like Harry Potter. You'd be getting a film every year. And Thibaut will be conning his audience after he sees the money he's earned from the documentary, running off after faking an injury for season 2. Meanwhile, in the Women's Champions League, and Barcelona Femení have completed the unbelievable quadruple. I mean, these lot are just absolutely ridiculous. They beat Lyon in the final. Them versus pretty much everybody else in the world of women's football apart from Chelsea is a bit of a mismatch. Think about what Barca Femení won versus what the men's side have won. These lot got a quadruple. Meanwhile, the men's side got a Spotify premium account at best. Lewandowski's come away from this season with a £30 gift card. This side won the Copa del Reina. Yep, that's what it's actually called. They won the final 8-0. 8-0 in the final. Someone give them some competition, I beg. And another big scoreline coming out of Spain was Girona's final day 7-0 win, in which Ukrainian winger Viktor Zygankov brought out the force. Another force at Girona, financial force. They've announced their shirt sponsor will be Etihad next season, of course owned by the City Group and Manchester City. I bet those were extremely difficult negotiations. An athletic club and their manager has revealed that Iñaki Williams has been playing with a piece of glass in his foot for the last 2 years. Bearing in mind this guy I think's missed one game injured like in his entire career. The guy's been running on a wine glass for 2 of those years. Sensational stuff. Defenders will have a unique way to try and stop him next season.
Happy birthday.
Bitch. But yeah, go to the hospital, bruv. Like, why have you been doing that? Staying at Athletic Club, and they've celebrated their sensational season winning the Copa del Rey with a trip to London. The poor lads. Iker Muniain is in for a shock when he realises they've only booked him a one-way ticket. He ain't coming back. Imagine celebrating the season you've had and then the door for the Bakerloo line falls off. They've been done dirty. Lucas Vazquez has not been called up for Spain's squad for the Euros. Celta Vigo's admin on Twitter took that opportunity to say he hadn't been called up either. Comparing Lucas Vazquez to a Twitter admin, man, it's a shithousery award for this guy. Meanwhile, Real Valladolid fans were wanting their manager Paulo Pezzolano to resign or to be sacked, either or, when they were struggling earlier on in the season. He has now guided them to the great escape they survived in La Liga, and upon their celebrations, he brought out the same chant they did. At least you can see the funny side of it. Now, over in Germany, and Bayer Leverkusen continued their ridiculous season by winning the DFB Pokal. Granit Xhaka scored a banger to secure the victory here and brought out a interesting celebration. In the crowd, and Forza Bayer banners were present. Isn't Bayer just the sponsor of... like, it's just a company, innit? It's not the actual place. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the crowd, and Kaiserslautern brought the fireworks to the table. It caused a delay because there was too much smoke on the pitch, only for things to get restarted and then Leverkusen fans to bring out the pyros too. Now, if Kaiserslautern had actually won this final, they would have qualified for Europe whilst being a firm second division side. An unbelievable journey for them. They finished 13th in the Bundesliga 2. It would have been a crazy story, but fair play to them either way. Fair play to Harry Kane, who hasn't won anything either, but has at least won the European Golden Boot. He scored the most. I think this guy's got every personal accolade possible, but at least this trophy isn't in the shape of a cannon. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the Bundesliga, and a massive shout out to Heidenheim, who took their place in the league, I think for the first time ever, I want to say. A couple of years ago, they were playing in the 3rd division of German football. They got promoted. Nobody really knew who they were. They're basically like the German Luton Town, and they've actually managed to qualify for Europe this season as well. So mental storyline from them. We'll see how they do, obviously, next season. One side that hasn't qualified for Europe is Napoli over in Italy. These lot might be the first ever streets won't forget entire football club. They're a one-season wonder, bro. They have fallen off disastrously and have finished 10th in the league. This has to be the worst title defense in football history. Kavica Kvaratskhelia has been relegated back to just being a Wi-Fi password again. 9 teams have qualified for Europe in Italy because of, you know, various like coefficients and then Italian teams getting to finals and winning. Imagine being 15th in the league, ending up with your fellow mid-table rivals in the Europa League.
Look at us. Huh? Who would have thought? Not me.
Everyone's qualified but Napoli, you know. That's crazy. They're going to be watching all the rest of the teams having fun on Wednesdays and Thursdays, sat at home. Inter Milan celebrated their Scudetto this season by getting some rings made. It's like an NBA sort of thing. NFL, very American sports. Next, they'll be bringing in Martin Odegaard. He's very, very well versed in those.
You fucking still going on about that?
But I'm pretty sure they've spelled Internazionale wrong on the rings. So that feels like whoever was in charge of explaining the word to the jeweler has had a really bad day at the office here.
Internazionale. Would you like to face them in the semi-final?
If you don't understand Inter, how is he going to understand International?
Meanwhile, Marcus Thuram, of course, was instrumental to Inter actually winning the Serie A title this year, securing that crown. Well, he didn't always have the support of the Italian media. One Italian journalist who often appears on TV said that he was a massive downgrade, and as a response, Marcus Thuram has got him his own Inter shirt printed off, has hand-delivered it to him after helping Inter win the Scudetto, and it says Thuram downgrade on the back. It's a shithousery award for the Frenchman. On the other side of San Siro now in AC Milan, Mattia Caldara, a defender, made his debut for the club at 30, 6 years after signing for them. What in the Scott Carson is going on here? At the bottom of the table, there were last-minute shenanigans from Empoli, who managed to secure their place in Serie A for next season with a last-minute Mbaye Niang goal. Dramatic survival there. Not quite as much drama, clearly, for Lazio's president in this meeting regarding important information and decisions for the league, because he fell asleep during it. So, yeah, so I think overall that's how we're going to tackle racism. What do you think, Claudio? Oh, sorry, yeah, fucking big ups to racism. Meanwhile, over in France, and PSG won the domestic cup, the Coupe de France, in Kylian Mbappe's final game as a PSG player. And so ends one of the longest sagas in football history. Life is about to become real boring for PSG fans. Going from Neymar, Messi, and Mbappe to Ousmane Dembele, Gonçalo Ramos, and Barcola. Barcola's a baller, to be fair. All of that money and no Champions League. PSG's bank account not looking as good as when they started. Meanwhile, Harry Kane will be looking to impress the French side, realizing he can easily go there and actually win some trophies as Mbappe's replacement.
Je m'appelle Grandjean. J'ai visité la France pour la nourriture.
Let's be real, SC Montpellier will change into completely different individuals the moment he steps foot in France. At Lyon, and to celebrate them getting into Europe after a disastrous start, Ryan Cherki got the rest of his side some rings. Why is everyone getting rings now? What's going on here? Meanwhile, the footballing stars were out in full force at Monaco. Trent Alexander-Arnold in interesting attire, and Kylian Mbappe was waving a checkered flag at the end of the race. Honestly, if he sprinted round the gaff, he probably could have beaten Logan Sargent. Now that it's time for your goals of the week, we've got some special strikes again. Only a couple, though. First of all, over at Real Salt Lake in America, take about Anderson Julio, who with his side losing has still brought out a belter here. And a second goal is some individual brilliance. Once again on the losing side here, but Trabzonspor's Onuachu, ex of Southampton, didn't know that was going to be the case, as he skipped away from a player on the halfway line with a lovely little dummy, continued his solo run, and then brought out some sensational composure to dink the ball over the goalkeeper, all whilst having the actual build of a fucking Power Ranger. The guy's 6'7". And then the final goal comes from Sweden. It is absolutely disgusting acrobatics. Not even going to commentate over it. I'm just going to let the clip do the talking, because this one is disgraceful.
Simon Sumpen Hammenstrand och skickar in ett drömmål. Det är fantastiskt, det är ett otroligt mål som man aldrig har sett maken till.
Hello all and welcome to the beautiful game, the segment where we take a look at the poetic and brilliant side of the game that we love. We are back by popular demand for yet more glorious beauty.
I think him and Ronaldo have gone above the normal standard that other people had set.
We are talking about the best player in the world.
He is remarkable. Just his first touch, his movement, how clever the space he finds. He's a one-off.
I don't know if we will see another player do the things that he does.
And that concludes the beautiful game. Now, after a small break and back to Turkey, Galatasaray are your winners of the Turkish Super League. They finished the season on 102 points. Centurions and their players were loving it. Wilfried Zaha was amongst the celebrations, and inside the stadium, the fans were having an incredible time as well. Fenerbahce, not so much. They finished second, pushing them all the way on 99. 99 points to leave with a "you tried hard" sticker is crazy. Galatasaray were, of course, getting at their rivals on Twitter, saying all fuss, no trophies. Fenerbahce fans have taken it badly. They were stabbing flags that had their club's president on after now a decade with no Super League title. I mean, I hear it, it's a long time, but fucking hell, 99 points, guys. You can't do much more than that. Well, I mean, apart from getting 100. So, I mean, in Portugal, and Sergio Conceição has announced that he will be leaving Porto. Fucking hell, is there a single manager actually staying at the club next season? Job Centre is going to be absolutely overrun at this rate. To be honest, he might just be fed up of Portuguese violence, because the last 5 games Porto have been involved in, a red card has come against them. Cristiano Ronaldo made history this week by becoming the first player to ever become a top scorer in a league across 4 countries.
I am a record man.
He did that with 31 goals this season in Saudi Arabia for Al Nassr. It's not really helping with the bumping of shocking attendances, though, in Saudi Arabian football right now. I actually kind of feel bad. Ronaldo's out there, like, absolutely balling, and there's about 16 people going to games. And on top of that, all of them missed, obviously, his record-breaking and this crucial bicycle kick to help set up a teammate's goal. Listen, if he doesn't go for that, he doesn't distract the defenders, all right? This is serious IQ play. Fans are also missing out on Aymeric Laporte terrorism after grabbing a player by the arm and then punching him in the elbow. But their best scenes from Saudi Arabia this week go to Nureddin Zekri, the manager of Al Oqdoud, who managed to keep them up, help with survival in the Saudi Pro League for the first time. And his celebration, sprinting around in a flat cap, I've never seen anything like this. His running technique is wild. It looks like them dons that do really quick walking at the Olympics. Lionel Messi was in a advert for the new Bad Boys film this week. I've never heard him speak English, ever. And judging off of this, for good reason.
Hey, man.
Bad boys?
But Leo isn't quite as popular amongst American Inter Miami fans at the moment. He wasn't involved in their most recent match, and supporters didn't take it very well. After spending quite a lot, obviously, to get to Miami, they were not too pleased, altering, you know, shirts and holding up banners. The thing is, though, like, he can't play every game, lads. The guy's 47. Blame the club for rinsing you of so much money every time you want to go see them, not him. In Austria and Hartberg have the opportunity to qualify for European competition. However, they'll have to make a slight change to their shirt if they want to compete. Yeah, you're only allowed to have one sponsor on the front of your shirt, and it's fair to say, have more than one. This is a billboard, brother. It's not a shirt. Some of these are pretty suspect as well. The sperm donor one, I think they're going to have to adopt a new approach. I mentioned the Salt Lake game in MLS earlier on in terms of goals of the week, but not everything was good football here. As Real Salt Lake's goalkeeper, McMath, well, he didn't do his angles properly here because he was involved in 2 absolutely shambolic howlers. One just an out-and-out horror story, and the other not being a great sweeper keeper, slicing a clearance badly and leaving an open goal. Over in the AFCON tournament of amputee football now, and we've got a brawl breaking out. I don't want brawls anywhere. I want peace, not problems, okay? But a brawl at an amputee thing is crazy, man. What the heck? What are we doing here? They've all got crutches they can hit each other with. This doesn't seem safe at all. Fuck it, you might as well get me involved now, boss. Meanwhile, back in Turkey and at Besiktas, we've got this fan with the blackest face paint I think I've ever seen. Never let this man go to Serie A, because it's gonna be all sorts of crazy. Meanwhile, in Chile and Palestino, a club over there massively linked, obviously, with Palestine, portrayed a strong and potent message by basically leading out invisible children or mascots to really hit home what's going on in the Gaza area right now. Very strong and visual message, and one that I hope gets the point across. Now, closer to home, and Oxford United celebrated their promotion to the Championship by going out and getting on the lash. After their player, Ruben Rodriguez, was seen on a sort of like a doorbell camera stealing a child's scooter at 5 in the morning so that he could get home. We've all been there, Ruben. Honestly, trust me. We start a run of absolute howlers, okay, over in the Philippines, where the goalkeeping standards really do need to get a little bit better. But at least they're not the only ones, because in Tanzania, and the irreparable damage that the likes of Pep Guardiola have done to the game of football in making Tanzanian goalkeepers think they can play their way out of trouble, just get the ball clear, man. Meanwhile, in Ecuador and at Emelec, to be fair, this might not be the goalkeeper's fault. This is terrible defensive play. Make sure you're you look, lads, please. I've said it time and time again when you're playing a back pass. Come on, what are we doing here? In the Czech Republic, though, and for the Czech Cup, there were some violent scenes when fans clashed out on the pitch, and TV presenters got brought into the mix too. And my legs are so tired from standing up this whole day reporting. I really wish we could just have a sit down. I mean, you wanted a chair, brother, so... There was wholesome stuff at FC Midtjylland, where Swedish player Christopher Olsen has spent some time out since February after the discovery of an acute brain injury that he's been suffering from. Well, he was in attendance for the parade to help Midtjylland lift the Danish league title. Massive props to him and wishing him a speedy recovery. In a Brazil under-17s match, and the game had to be postponed for a second because peacocks were on the pitch. I've heard streakers called many things, but not necessarily that. In Norway, and there was a crazy comeback from Egersund, who managed to beat Stabæk despite being 4-0 down at the 60-minute mark. Bob Bradley's side, who obviously used to manage the US national team, lost 5-4 in the end after an absolute capitulation here. There's capitulation at the back, but there's capitulation going on in attack in Sweden, where Västerås fans have got to be frustrated. How can you have an XG of 18 and an actual goals count of 3? Have you got a traffic cone up front? How is that even possible? Meanwhile, you thought we were done with goalkeeping, howlers? Think again. As a continental final against Al Ain is probably not the best time for this Japanese goalkeeper to bring out this howler. Now there is time for still 0-0, and you guys know the score by now. This is a segment of the show where I bring to you the best of Sunday League and amateur football. And today, naturally, we're heading over to the Hungarian under-14s division. Now look, listen, hear me out on this one, because the story itself is absolutely ridiculous. So going into the final day of a 16-game season, I've got two teams that I'm not going to offend the populations with by attempting to pronounce, who are going up against each other for the title. The side in second are facing bottom of the league, and they have been struggling all campaign on just 3 points. They need a ridiculous 42-goal swing in order to be champions on the final day. You won't be surprised to hear that they won the game 43-1. I know this team are bad, so they might try and hide. This is elite level bribery. This is corruption on a global scale. I already know those defenders were yamming the ball into their own net at the prospect of a free bag of Haribos and a trip to Hungarian Thought Park. On to the weird stuff though now. There were more ridiculous scorelines coming out of Estonia, where a badge that is literally a dolphin sat in a cup of lean. What the fuck is going on in Europe at the moment, football? Can we just take a break? Estonian football is known, really, for its big scorelines. That's exactly what happened here. This side winning 23-0 against the side that was playing 9 under-17 players, and it also had a 54-year-old in the starting 11, so probably the reason. In Afghanistan now, we are going global with this series. A club by the name of Attack Energy Harat were attacking with energy as they won the league, but they did it in unthinkable circumstances by not only having a perfect record, but by not conceding a goal all season. I mean, attack clearly is the best form of defense here. And finally, there's a ridiculous story going on in Asia, in Turkmenistan, where a side called Arkadag have broken a record for the most consecutive wins in world football. They've taken that tally up to 46 recently, beaten, I want to say, Barcelona Femení. But there's controversy surrounding this club because they were only formed back in 2023, immediately promoted and owned by a dictator who ran the entire country. There's like a lot of suspicion that they're just match fixing every single game because they have never drawn or lost in their history, I think. So yeah, probably investigate that. Investigate the Hungarian under-14s league as well, please. That, though, is going to wrap up football this week, and I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, then feel free to slap a like on the video, and of course, subscribe if you are new to the channel. You can also follow me on social media. It is at @theofficialfng on Twitter and on Insta. It's been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a wonderful day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.